All right, good afternoon. Today is October 7th, 2025, and I have Miss Agapita Jaramillo with me. This is for a class project for a Mexican American Studies course at UTSA. Do I have your consent to record?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. So hi, Miss Jaramillo. If you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a long resident of Edgewood ISD. I was birthed here. I was raised here. I went to school here. And I also have my children that are products of Edgewood and a lot of family that resides in it in the Edgewood School District.
All right. So my first question I'm going to ask you is, can you tell me about your upbringing in Edgewood and what it was like attending Memorial High School during your time?
I came from a very poor family. My dad was a farm setter, and my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom. She married at the age of 15, and my dad was 21. And so, basically, my parents always instilled the importance of education. And back in the day, we did not have free lunch. We had to walk to school. We didn't have the benefits or the privileges that now exist. But it was important for my parents to always instill a good education for us. That's something that was a given. I was brought up that I had to do well in school. If I came home with a D, I had to answer to that. And as far as going to high school, well, back in the day, the word pride was very big because we had a lot of pride in our campus, and the students all were very close. There was a more sense of community within the school.
What elementary and middle school did you go to?
I went to H.K. Williams Elementary, and I went to Truman Middle School, which now Truman is closed. H.K. Williams is now being, I think it's the neighborhood place.
Yes.
Hmm.
Awesome.
And it was quite a way of walking from where we lived to H.K. Williams.
And my next question is, because you did tell me a little bit about your mother's journey as an educator. So my question is, how did your mother's journey as an educator and student at St. Mary's influence your own sense of leadership and community responsibility?
Well, my mother had the opportunity. She was very involved at the school and very involved with PTA, very involved with volunteering. So my mom had the opportunity of going into a program which was called the COP program. And she had the opportunity of getting her GED and going to college. So she started attending St. Mary's University. And it was so weird because she was going to college at the same time I was going to high school. So we graduated together, but I graduated as a senior in high school. She graduated as a senior and at St. Mary's. And so she really proven herself that even though she was a stay-at-home mom, she was still going to school and working. She was working as a teacher's aide, and she was also going to school. And back in the day, the culture was very different. It was more like the husband had to allow you to go to school, had to allow you to work. And so my dad was very good at allowing my mom or giving her that space to better herself. And so I really looked up at my mom for doing that, for helping us in that way.
And then your mother became an educator at
At
Cenizo
Ceniso
Park.
Park. She worked there for 33 years, and she was a bilingual third grade teacher when she retired. And her love for the community and for the children of Edgewood, I mean, it was tremendous. My mom always felt that that by her living in Edgewood and by her being a product of Edgewood and her giving back to those students, she understood the students, she understood the families. She was very close to the families because she could communicate with them. And she really never had a problem as far as discipline because she was able to have those conversations with those parents.
My next question is, when you look back, what do you think shaped your commitment to education and service in Edgewood?
Well, because I started working in Edgewood after I ended up, I got married at 19 and got divorced at 21, but ended up working at Edgewood, and I worked for Edgewood for 33 years. And that's all I knew. That's all I knew. I worked for a school district. I learned about policy. I learned about, parents. I learned about the students. I learned about the budget. So I also learned that, in all the schools back in the day, they had side-based decision making. So a lot of the teachers had their own style of teaching, and I felt that that was successful.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is, you've worn many hats, PTA leader, neighborhood president, Parks and Rec board member, and community advocate. How do you define leadership across of those roles?
Well, I feel that um, voice is strong, and I feel that it can be difficult to become a leader because a lot of our families or a lot of our parents are like they're hesitant to speak up. But to become a leader, you have to have a voice. So that's the number one important thing I feel is that parents have to start feeling more comfortable about voicing their concerns or voicing their or giving input or getting involved.
Okay, my next question is what has motivated you to become active in the PTA and advocate for Edgewood families? But before that, just want to share with you a paper that I have from my records when I was in elementary school. My mom kept it, but it has your name on the bottom, so I thought that was very special to share.
Well, I was very involved with PTA, and I was very involved with the Edgewood Council of PTAs. I was the president and treasurer, secretary, and so Edgewood Council of PTAs were responsible to oversee the local PTAs at the schools. So because it's you're dealing with your local PTAs and then your council of PTAs and then your state PTA and national PTA. It's okay, and there's different branches. So when I was involved with the council of PTAs, we gave a lot of training. We offered a lot of training to the local um, campuses, to the local units, and that helped. To me, that helped these individuals that wanted to pursue, that wanted to continue being leaders, because that training helped them and guided them to to be leaders.
Did y'all have like a lot of turnout? I see that
Yes.
y'all advertised through every student got a letter.
Yes, and not only that, but we also provided that training for the booster organizations. So we provided booster athletic and band booster organizations. We provided training, and like I said, with the PTA, and there was a time when we had PTAs at all the campuses. It was mainly it was practically mandatory that you have PTAs at your campuses because even though now I feel that they try and separate PTA from parent engagement, I think it should work together. They work together because those same parents that are PTA members are most likely volunteers. They're involved with they involved with parent engagement.
Thank you. And my next question is, have you seen community organizing or parent involvement change in Edgewood versus the year over the years?
Absolutely. Um, and that's one thing that we continue to advocate because back in the day, you had volunteers go to the schools, you had parents involved. It was more like an open door policy, and you had parents helping create bulletin boards and help out, counting papers or running off material, or even reading to a classroom. And now that has kind of faded away. Parent engagement is very limited at the schools, and I feel that that's something that has affected our education, because I feel real strong in the sense that when you have parents involved in your child's education, to me, that's going to make a big impact in your child's growth.
Thank you. And my next question is, can you share a moment where you saw the district impact of your leadership, something that made you feel like the efforts mattered?
I think it was when we were, like I said, when we were doing the training for the PTA Council of the Edgewood Council of PTAs. When we were doing the training, we were offering all this training, and we were seeing our PTAs grow, and the support. There was so much support there. So yes, at that time, I think it was that. And I also felt like I was very involved with my own children's co-curricular, extracurricular activities. So I was real involved in, like my daughter's dance team, mariachi, those programs.
Thank you. My next question is, how do you approach bringing people together in your neighborhood or at schools when there are differences or challenges?
Well, I think basically reaching out. I do a lot of emails. I do some block walking. When it comes to different events that we're having, and basically by word of mouth, meeting people. I go to a lot of events, and I'm always out there to ask questions. I'm always asking questions. What can you bring to Edgewood? What help can you bring us? What resources? So it's always research. I think research is something that we have to teach our parents to do. We have to teach them how to really navigate those tools and really look for the resources.
Thank you. My next question is, when have you when have you been wait what have been some barriers for families or grandparents trying to be involved in schools or community life?
Well, the parental involvement component, that we're limited as to what we can do. And the other thing is the grandparents. A lot of our grandparents are practically raising our grandchildren. And the barrier I see is that they don't have a policy in place in the school district to where they can get the permission from the parent and say, okay, like for instance, when you register your child, there should be a section there where mom can say, I give my mother permission to meet with my child's teacher, to discuss her academics. And that's not really being allowed. And I'm kind of going through that myself, because I have to get something in writing from my daughter to take to the campus in order to meet with my granddaughter's teacher. But again, you've got working parents that really it's hard for them to go to these parent conferences. So, are we okay?
The other recording stopped, but I guess I'll just do it on my phone.
Okay.
I might be able to start.
So I think that's one of the barriers is getting grandparents to be able to meet with their grandchild's teacher. I mean, I know that there's certain restrictions, but if they get permission from the very beginning, they can continue those conversations, with the teachers, because a lot of times grandparents are the ones that pick up the children. Grandparents are the ones that are called when they get sick. And grandparents are the ones that end up helping them with homework. Yeah.
Thank you. My next question is, how do you see your work with the Parks and Rec Board and how you feed the homeless population as part of your broader vision for community care?
Well, with the Parks and Recreation, I feel that I do give a lot of input at the meetings, and I'm always asking, is this possible? Can we, what's in the budget? What can you allocate to bring to us, to our community? I'm trying to get like microchipping events, vaccination events. I'm trying to beautify our parks. A lot of our parks, if you go to the North Side District and you see their parks, you come to our park and it's like, okay, do parents really want to go to our parks? So I'm trying to upgrade our parks, and it's been happening slowly but surely. As for the homeless, well, I've been reaching out about the homelessness, that I feel that the city should invest in getting people in the afternoons. They have coordinators, they have people helping the homeless population during the day, but the homeless population really come out in the afternoon. And I mean, I'm one that if I have food left over, if I go to food pantries, and I go and I distribute, to the homeless population, because they are human beings. They need help, and I don't feel we are doing enough for the homeless population in our neighborhood. Um, but I think a lot of it is because we don't have the staff through the city. We need to really increase our staff to come and talk to the homeless population in our neighborhood.
Thank you. My next question is, what lessons do you think younger generations, students, and leaders today can learn from Edgewood's history and its ongoing community work?
Well, I feel that we need to let our community, our students, know about the history. We have history in Edgewood, and not only the Kirby versus Edgewood versus Kirby, uh, but there's a lot of more history than that. Students don't know that Edgewood was built, and I mean, we were just like a forest here. And we started out with one little small one school, and we grew. And I feel that our students should know about the history, how we got started, how we grew, and the campuses. So many of our campuses are named after heroes, and they don't know. They don't know who they are. They don't know who Alonso Perales is. They don't know who Gus Garcia is. And that's important, because that, to me, would instill a sense of pride to these students. And they need to know that we are a small community, a small school district, but we're strong.
Thank you. My next question is, what advice would you give to someone who wants to serve their community the way you have, but doesn't know where to start?
Well, the advice I would give them is not to be afraid. Not to be afraid to speak up, not to be afraid, and find somebody that will help you, find somebody that will be there as a supporter. You need support. Everybody needs a support system. So, if you've got a parent that wants to become a leader, then certainly, yes, you find that support, find that person that's willing to mentor you and help you or answer those questions. Never, I mean, always answer the phone, and make sure if you don't have the answer, let that person know, you know what, I don't know, but I can find out. Be persistent, and I mean, advocating is very important in our school district.
Thank you. The next question I want to ask you is, living in this community so long, what have you seen change around you?
Well, the change that I've seen is that kids are more, on their phone. I don't see kids out there like a lot of kids. Before there was more youth activities that the parents would take their kids to, like softball teams, soccer teams. Kids are more at home. I see that. I don't see really that many kids involved, and I don't see the community more involved, as they were involved at the schools before. And that's kind of sad. But I don't see that involvement at the school level. As far as our neighborhood has grown, but it has grown as far as we're getting some really nice stores around here. They're beautifying our area. They're fixing our streets, but we're still not caught up. We still need a lot.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to share?
I just want to say that I'm kind of proud of myself in the sense that when we had our PTAs, I'm real strong about PTAs, and I wish we could bring our PTAs back. But I remember that I used to help organize PTAs. I started the first PTA at the Fine Arts Academy. I helped start the first PTA at Cardenas Center. Basically, getting the state to come in and help organize these PTAs. So I felt that I was a strong leader in that sense. And I still continue to say that, if anybody needs help with our PTAs, to reach out to those, there's a lot of us that are still out there that are willing to help you and guide you, because I feel that the Parent Teacher Association is important and we should bring back to the schools.
Thank you. See how much time? 22.
Need some more?
A little bit.
So what do you want me to say?
Do you want to talk about like the changing landscape, like a lot of schools closed? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we can say that. Yeah. One thing that I'm very disappointed about is that we've lost a lot of children, we've lost a lot of students in our district, and we can't seem to hold on to our students, okay? And that's very disturbing because we're a small community. Our schools are so close by. Most of our kids don't need to be bused. I mean, it's the schools are the area is so close, but we've lost so many students. And why? Why have we lost so many students? Why are parents taking their students to charter schools or out to school somewhere else? And one thing that I think has disappointed our community is that we've closed campuses, and but have we closed the campuses that we're supposed to close? And I'm very concerned that some of the schools that we do have in our school district are partnership schools. And so I would like for somebody to reach out and do a study to see, okay, you've got schools that are being run by Edgewood, and you've got schools that are run by partnerships. So who's doing better? And I can assure you that the schools that are being run by Edgewood are doing a lot better than the schools that are being run by partnerships. But we went with these partnership schools because we get more money per our students, right?
Yes.
So, if that's the case, then shouldn't our students be doing better? If we have the money, then we have the resources, they should be doing better, right? And as a matter of fact, I believe our district is a D rating, and that's very disturbing with 7,800 students. If anything, we should have the resources to get these students up to par.
Yes. Um, I just want to ask you, do you know anything about like the Kelly Air Force Base when it closed?
Oh, yeah. Well, Kelly Air Force Base closed, and a lot of people lost their jobs. They did give them severance pay, I believe, and they gave them bonuses, or I don't know how that happened, but I know my uncle was one of them. But Kelly closed, and now we have Port San Antonio, and Port San Antonio is like a right next door. It's a very, very uh, big area, and I don't feel that Port San Antonio is really partnering with our community. Um, I know there's a lot going on in there. I know there's a lot of work, but that's another thing. These employees, are they from Edgewood or are they from somewhere else? And the other thing is, why are we not involved with Port San Antonio? I mean, there should be events being offered, events to being offered for our community to benefit from, or resources, or not just a fall festival, or not just they should be giving back to our community.
I also want to ask, do you know anything when the Levi jeans plant
The
closed?
Levi Jeans, yes, it's another big company that closed down, and I don't know the history. All I know is that it closed down, it moved, and a lot of people lost their jobs. And then I think the city took it over, and now I think it's being run by Parks and Rec, by the city. Yeah, but a lot of people lost their jobs too. But from what I understand, Levi's, did it move to Mexico or
I think it moved to a different part of the
part of
world.
okay.
Also, we're in the Wetsy Center, so how do you see like this
Oh, the West,
impact the
yeah.
future?
Well, the Wetty Center was, I mean, I do feel it was an investment, but I just don't feel that there is enough marketing out there. I don't feel our community is taking advantage of what's being offered here. And I wish there was a better way that we could reach out to our community. Maybe we need more signage. Maybe we need like a massive mail out to go to our community and say, hey, we're offering all this. Because this center offers programs that will be very beneficial to our community, like the community health workers program, truck driving, pharmacists, I believe, pharmacist technician. I don't think a lot of our students are would want to go to college, so this would be ideal for them to go into a profession like this. But again, I don't think that the word is out. I don't think that enough people know about these programs.
Thank you. I also want to ask, what do you think the future is going to look like for this community, or what do you think will change in the future?
Well, what I see is that I think we're probably going to end up closing more schools, because when you have campuses that only have 200 students in a campus, how can we afford to pay teachers and operate a building, you know? So I'm afraid that we might end up losing, closing down more schools because we're losing students. We're losing students, and then our teacher ratio is nothing to be proud of either. Our teacher retention. So our teacher retention. So we have a lot of teachers coming in, and they leave within 3-4 months, and that's sad. We've lost a lot of teachers that worked in the district for years, but I call them the old school teachers. So, but we're losing a lot of the old school teachers, and we're getting a lot of new teachers. And I know it's a new generation, but I don't know if, I don't know why they leave.
Do you think the new state voucher will impact us more?
Yes, absolutely. I think once the vouchers are approved, or well, they've been approved, right? I think But once they come into place, I think people are going to think, oh, yeah, we have a voucher, let's send them to these private schools. But I think we're going to end up hurting our students by taking them out, putting them in a private school, because those vouchers can only pay for so much. They can only pay for so much of their tuition. So are they really going to be able to afford the tuition once that voucher is, is depleted? And the other thing is, when you go to a private school or those type of campuses, if you don't do good academically or discipline-wise, if you have discipline issues, they have a right to let you go. And they don't really offer special ed services. They don't have teachers there. I don't think that they really, really focus on special needs.
Do you know anything of I believe there was a voucher in the 90s. Do you remember anything about that?
Yes. We had a voucher program in the 90s. A lot of people took advantage of it, but we ended up getting a lot of people back. We ended up getting a lot of students by the second semester, and I know that because I was working in Edgewood. So they did go, and then we ended up they went to St. John Birchman, St. John Bosco. They went to all these, and the students that couldn't keep up, guess what? We ended up getting them back. Yeah.
Let's see how much time. All right, that's 30 minutes. That is. All right, well, thank you for taking the time to be interviewed today for your class project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Valdez.
All right. What time is the night out thing?
6:30.
What time you have to set up?
No, they're gonna set up. They do everything. They do everything. I'm gonna go check on them right now anyway. See how they're doing. But around 6:30.